Hello, my name is Luann Heath, and I'm a Senior Director with Standard & Poor's Rating Services Client Business Management Team. I'm part of a team of sales and relationship professionals who focus on U.S. state and local governments. Today I'm speaking with Jeff Previdi, Managing Director, U.S. Public Finance Ratings. We will discuss S&P's analytical expertise, methodology, and criteria for state and local governments, as well as discuss the ratings process. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you, Luann.
What types of state and local governments does S&P rate?
Well, we have quite a significant array of local governments in the state and local government group at Standard & Poor's. In fact, it's by far the largest group in our public finance department. And we rate types of governments, broadly speaking, broken out into two different groups. Those local governments that are not special purpose districts, so that would be counties, cities, towns, villages, boroughs. And then we rate those that are special purpose districts, chiefly school districts, and then also library districts, park districts, forest preserve districts. And in each group we have a pretty large number of ratings, over 4,000 non-special purpose districts and over 6,000 special purpose districts. So not only do we have different types of governments, but we also have different types of debt. We rate general obligation pledges, we rate appropriation pledges, we rate special taxes, we rate state intercept programs. So it's really quite a wide array of governments that we rate.
Tell me about S&P's methodology and criteria for state and local governments. What are the key rating factors that analysts and credit committees use when assessing an entity's creditworthiness?
Well, I'll speak mainly about our general obligation debt criteria, which is by far the most heavily utilized of all the different types of debt that we rate. And there are four main key areas that we look at: economy, management, finances, and debt. So for the economy, we look at the economic environment in which the municipality operates. That's certainly a key consideration to their future credit quality. We also look at management through our financial management assessment criteria. We take a look at what kind of policies and practices does that government have and use in order to preserve credit quality. Then we look at finances, certainly important for a credit rating. We look at their performance, surplus, deficits, levels of reserves, levels of liquidity. And then we look at debt, what their debt levels are and what types of contingent liabilities like pension and OPEB that a municipality might have.
Very good. How do your written rationales support your ratings on an entity? What's included?
Well, what we try to do is be as transparent as possible in our rationales in terms of what types of information we want to convey about the credit. And typically we will cover the four criteria areas I just spoke to you about and try to express our opinion and then sort of roll it up into what we think is the overall credit rating and why we've arrived at that conclusion. I should also point out that we also have outlooks on all of our rationales, which is sort of the near-term direction of that rating in the next 12 to 18 months. So that could be stable, positive, and negative. So that also provides useful information to the market about what our opinion is about the future direction of that rating.
Good. Talk to me about the analytical expertise of the team that covers state and local governments for S&P.
Well, when you have a sector as large and diverse as this one, you better have a lot of expertise, and I think we certainly do. We have a number of people, including the manager of the group. He himself has over 30 years of experience in the public finance sector, and so he's seen a lot of credit cycles come and go and has a lot of vast experience. We have a lot of people with that type of experience. We also have people who have sector experience. So in a group as wide and varied as this, people tend to gravitate towards certain sectors. So by that you could be a certain type of debt, like you could become an expert in special tax debt, or a certain type of government. So one could become expert in school districts in Pennsylvania, for example. So that helps in order to sort of allocate the expertise across the group. And then importantly, we have our regional office network. So we have regional offices in Boston, Chicago, Dallas, and San Francisco. And teams of analysts in those offices chiefly work on the debt of the states in those regions. And so by having that level of familiarity with those states, they certainly have a lot of expertise that they've developed over time. And actually by living in those regions, they're quite familiar with them and become very, very well versed in the debt issues of those regions.
Can you outline the ratings process?
Sure. What happens on the analytics side is a request for a rating will come into S&P. That could come in varied forms, either directly to the analyst, or we have things like Ratings Request Online, which is an online request service for a rating. So that rating request will come in and will be sent to a senior analyst who will decide who the analytic team will be, who will work on that credit. And we work in teams, so there's a primary and backup credit analyst assigned to each transaction. And once that team is assigned, they reach out to the issuer and their intermediaries, whether it's advisors, to get further information about the transaction. Once they've had a chance to review that, then they typically set up a call or a face-to-face meeting to talk with management. Precisely as I said, management being an important component of our ratings, we want to talk to management and get a sense of their ability and what's going on with the credit, the trends, and questions that we have on the information presented. Once that's done, the analytic team goes back and prepares their rating presentation to bring to a rating committee. All ratings at S&P are generated by rating committees, and that committee is comprised of senior analysts which have expertise in that particular type of credit. And so once the committee's decision is made, then that decision gets communicated by the analytic team to the issuer, and then that information gets communicated out to the market via the release of our rating and our rationale that we spoke about earlier.
Thank you, Jeff. That concludes this edition of Credit Matters TV. Thank you for joining us.